welcome to United View, welcome to another road trip. We're on our way to OT again. It feels like every single game is at home right now. It is. Every single game is at home right now. Then we've got City to come at home, Charlton to come at home actually first, then City. So another 2 home games in a row, 3 if we include tonight. So we're getting used to Old Trafford. That's good after a long absence actually, away at the World Cup. But it's FA Cup time and we face a tricky opponent. I think, although they've been absolutely awful, Everton, although Frank Lampard is on his last limbs as Everton manager, I still feel like these games, can be tricky if we don't perform right. You know what I mean? If we perform right and, get the first goal, you'd expect Everton's confidence to kind of go. They've obviously got that massive game against Southampton on the weekend. That is a 6-pointer. They're at the bottom of the league, Southampton, and Everton are a couple of places above them. So that is a massive, massive game. You'd think that, a cup is a unwanted distraction for them. So it's a bit different to when they went to City and were fighting for points to stay in this league, in this division versus a cup. But I don't know. I'm confident we'll do well, but you always have to be wary of a team that is just down on its arse and has absolutely nothing, looking like the manager's about to get sacked. If you don't perform properly, you can get a shock. I'm not saying that will happen, but I'm just saying you can get a shock. But if we turn up and play, tonight should be a comfortable evening. What are you saying, Marcel? Everton at home?
Your point plays into our hand. I think the fact that they've got Southampton obviously coming up in the weekend, I think hopefully that means they've got a lesser side player coming out in terms of the squad, and we can win the game. I do still feel confident. I mean, when we was away to them earlier on this season, it should have been maybe 3-1. I think the game finished 2-1 or something.
Oh yeah, because Rashford got disallowed.
I think Casemiro had a header in the first half.
Should have scored.
He should have scored. So we have, and I don't think we're actually going to play that side. If I'm honest with you, I don't think we'll play a full strength side ourselves because we've got so many games. I mean, another game against Charlton coming up as well. But you're right, they are a good opponent. Iwobi, has been playing well in spells this season, and if he's starting, a new makeshift midfielder, really, really good play that he's been playing this season. So there's things that could happen, but I just don't rate Lampard as a manager, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I'm expecting a win. I'm expecting that Old Trafford kind of fortress feel and a comfortable win. Yeah, I mean, look, again, it's a cup competition, so it's a little bit different in terms of the league. But when we played against them earlier in the season away from home, we got off to that bad start where Casemiro gave the ball away, and then Wobi scored that wonder goal, and then from then we were just in complete control, and obviously went on to win the game and could have won it by more. They are wounded, they are low on confidence, and they're not a good side. There's no dressing up. I don't think that's disrespectful. I don't think that's that's jumping the gun. They are a poor side, hence hence we can see. But you still have to treat teams like that with respect and do your own job. I think in the groove that we're in the mode that we're in, with the type of football we're playing, we should have way too much for Everton. Way too much for Everton. But all it takes is for the team to have an off day, have a bad game and not be at it, and you give teams like Everton who are down and out a chance. I think the fact that they've got that Southampton game, would mean that maybe Frank Lampard would maybe not play his starting 11. I'll be surprised if he did that. But then again, if you're Frank Lampard, me and Owen was talking about this. If you get smashed by Man United 4-0 or 5-0 or something like that because you changed your team and that, you might not even make it to the Southampton game. They still got to show a little bit, but at the same time, on the flip side of that, if you're Everton, the FA Cup's not a priority right now. You have to stay in this league. I mean, if you're playing Southampton at home, you need your best players fit. I don't know whether that game's at Goodison or whether it's away at St Mary's. I think it could be Goodison, I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter where it is anyway. It is a 6-pointer, massive, massive game down the bottom of the table. And I think if Everton lose that game, I could be mistaken, but I think they could go into the bottom 3, potentially, depending on how the other results go. So, yeah, man, I think that they could be dangerous for that reason. But on us, listen, we're in great form. Rashford's going from strength to strength. Martinez is back in the squad anyway, training. Hopefully he starts tonight. You've got the likes of Anthony's back in training as well. He was back. Team selection, this is a weird one because the next Premier League game is City, but the next game after this is Charlton. How are you trying to balance the team versus people like Dalot need minutes? Varane didn't play in the last game. Martinez needs minutes if we want our strongest back four in for Man City.
But how would you manage these two games to make sure our main players are ready for that Man City game?
It's all about rotation, to be honest with you, Flex. I think, I was going to ask you, obviously, is our second string team good enough to beat Everton? Is what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
And I think, when you consider that, I think Lindelof maybe has to play again today. Maybe you see Maguire get more minutes. Elanga maybe has to play now today, and he has to play either today or against Charlton, So it is about balancing the squad. We're going to see the likes of Garnacho playing, which is always good, direct, aggressive on the ball. And what's going to happen to Eriksen? How are we going to be able to manage him throughout this time? I honestly would like to see how Ten Hag manages to do it. But he has to make sure that for the big game against City on the 14th, I think it is, that players are fit, and the main starting 11 is fit. Let's see Scott McTominay. Haven't seen him for a little while. It would be good to see him against Charlton and today in Everton. I'm expecting him to contribute at some stage throughout the season and try and earn his place back in the team. Malacia as well. And Luke Shaw at centre-back has looked really good. So, hopefully we get to see him as well. But yeah, do you think that second string team, whatever it is in your mind, do you think that's good enough to beat Everton?
I think so, within reason. We can't take the piss. We can't just roll out, Zidane, Iqbal and Charlie Savage in the middle and then say, Brandon Williams, you go right. We can't take the piss. And Ten Hag won't do that, because I actually think the opposite. I think he goes really strong today. I think he goes really strong today for two reasons. One, the first round of the FA Cup, it's his first ever FA Cup game. He wants to take it seriously. It's a cup competition. We can't afford to be, turning our noses up at cup opportunities against a wounded team like Everton. And secondly, I think because that Charlton game is so close to this one and sandwiched in between this and the City game, I think he goes stronger today, and then maybe against a Championship outfit in Charlton, I think he rings in a few more changes than he would normally to keep everyone fit. Because if you think about it, so Eriksen, to me, I'm going again with the same midfield. I'm going Eriksen, Bruno, and what's his face? Casemiro.
Yeah.
But if I was going to make a change, if Fred comes in for Eriksen, not a problem. You know what I'm saying? He's done well coming off the bench. And again, against a poor Everton side, Casemiro, Fred and Bruno is more than enough. Yeah. So if you wanted to save Eriksen, even maybe possibly all the way till Man City, but you still want a bit of rhythm.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's why I think he maybe starts him tonight and then maybe rests him against Charlton. The thing about Eriksen as well is that he's not a finisher. Yeah. He hasn't been completing 90 minutes a lot. He usually comes off around 77, like what we spoke about before. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Back four is interesting because does he go Martinez, Dalot and Varane, let's say, need game time? How are you managing that back four? What are you on tonight versus Charlton and then City? Because obviously we agree that we need the main back four for the City game, innit?
Yeah.
Right, so Dalot's coming back for a long-term injury, got 20 minutes the other day. Yeah. Martinez has come back from the World Cup, got like 3 minutes the other day.
Yeah.
So how would you prepare them? What team would you play tonight in the back?
I think going off of what you said there, and I think it makes sense playing a stronger side today, just to get through. I mean, Everton are a Premier League side at the end of the day, and they can perform. And you just don't know what to expect as well from them if what Lampard brings out. So Dalot, maybe you put him on till 70th, 80th minute, and Martinez the same. But then you got to consider what happens against obviously Charlton, and I would think Martinez is ready to be played into rhythm.
Yeah,
play. I think he has to play consistently in all three games coming up.
Yeah.
Just to get himself into playing rhythm.
Yeah.
And then Dalot, I think you got to manage him. Hamstring injuries are quite peculiar.
Yeah.
We've seen with the likes of Anthony Martial how that can affect players. Malacia is an interesting one.
Would you start him today?
Yeah, I really want to see him. Yeah, I really want to see him play in this game. I think Luke Shaw obviously has played well. He was a man of the match performance in the last game, but I want to see obviously how we can get Malacia in there as well, which would be again something of a challenge for Ten Hag. But Luke Shaw, maybe rest him for this one and then play him in the easier game and then leading up to City against Charlton. Yeah,
no, I see what you mean. Me personally, I'm going with the full strength back line today. I would go Dalot, needs minutes. I would go Martinez, Varane, and Luke Shaw. But I don't mind if Malacia plays left back. I don't mind if one of Varane and Martinez play. If it's Lindelof and Martinez, or Lindelof and Varane, or even if it's even if it's Maguire and Martinez, like it's not like Everton are a bad side, man. We should be able to play different combinations and still beat these. So that's it for me. But prediction, let's go. Let's wrap up. Prediction, give me a prediction.
3-0, Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho goal. I don't know who the last goal scorer is going to be.
You think Garnacho's going to start here, or just come on and score? You just think he's going to score, yeah?
Come on and score.
Okay, I'm just going to stick with my little 2-0s. I like my 2-0s right now. I'll go with 2-0. Goal scorers. This is a new thing for me. This feels weird. Predicting goal scorers. I mean, Man United are doing all right, mate. I'm starting to predict goals. Who do I think I am? Goal scorers, goal scores. 2-0, and I'm going to go Rashi again. And then, yeah, go on, and I'll give you a Bruno.
Yeah.
I'll give you a Bruno. So yeah, there you have it. Make sure you guys keep Owen and KG company on the match view. They will be watching it live, so make sure you guys join in on that if you're not at the game. And if you are at the game, and obviously after the game, we will have reaction with fans outside of Old Trafford as well, hopefully into the hat for the next round of the FA Cup as well. Smash the like, guys, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we'll see you again in the evening. Peace.